Welcome to Protecting Africa show. We got Brother Isaac in the show, and I'm gonna be asking him a few questions about the topic I'm covering. And my question to you is in relation to what I saw you doing earlier. Earlier, I saw you speaking in French with the brother there, but later on noticed that you speak the same African language, right?
Exactly.
So I was surprised that despite the fact that you speak the same African languages, but you were speaking French.
Yeah.
So what makes brown Africans, what you call black, I call brown because you look brown anyway. What makes brown African people to put European languages above their own languages? Because what I've noticed is widespread. It's like everybody's doing that in most part of Africa. We're putting European languages first and not our own languages first. What is causing that, in your opinion?
Yeah, according to me, what I believe is, African languages are very important languages. The problem is, or the origin is, the dominance of Western countries. In Africa, we don't have, or in the black community, we don't have what they call economic freedom, political freedom. So this is what makes things a bit difficult for African people to promote their own languages. So that's where the problem is coming from. And you can come in a country like, let's say, this country, South Africa, where you find the government trying to promote the African languages. But you see somewhere English is trying to dominate. Why? Simply because you have English in almost everything. So in business you have English, when you go to school you have English. So I think that's another problem. So African people have a lot to do to promote their own languages. So they really have a lot to do.
Very inspiring words you've said, and I agree fully with what you said, and I'm quite surprised because few Africans can say it as you said it, and I can see you have a clear picture of things, which is a great thing. Now, when we put the languages first, it means our own languages are dying, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. When you put some more importance on the language, which means your own language is being neglected, and
And that means our own. Have you noticed that African languages are dying? That means we now speak them with many European sentences and words, and you even find parents who don't want them to speak them. And in some part of Africa, people don't even know how to speak their languages at all.
Yeah, I think African governments have a lot to do.
So our languages are dying. You notice that, right?
Yes, I can see that. So
they're dying. And who's the killer of African languages in that case?
No, I think African themselves. Because there is, it's like we always blame Western countries. They destroyed Africa, but we don't know how to blame ourselves. Because actually we give way to Western countries to come and destroy everything we have. Economy, society, culture, almost everything. So in this case, I can blame Africans themselves.
But okay, go on.
We have a lot to do,
But the Europeans are stronger than us.
Exactly.
Now, if they are stronger than us and they have dominance over us in all spheres of our lives, culturally, socially, mentally, educationally, in all spheres of our life, they have dominance.
Yeah.
To the point we even see them as superior generally.
Exactly.
So if we are seeing them as superior, it means our mind is conditioned to view them as special beings.
Exactly.
So in those conditions, how can people who are unconscious? Because if you are seeing your historical oppressors or your oppressor as superior, and then you yourself as inferior, it means you're unconscious. Because logic says you can't see another human being as superior or your oppressor as superior. Yeah. Your oppressor is supposed to have a negative image.
I believe that doesn't make it impossible for African people to change or to go ahead. I can give the example of China. You see China some years ago, they were behind and they were even, they had what they call inferiority complex, when they are in front of American, for instance. But you see China today is the biggest economy.
But do you know what?
It's the same thing African people can do.
But do you know how China got to that level?
Yeah, exactly. No, this is what we're talking about.
But there was a war in China, which brought the Communist Party of China in power.
Exactly.
And it is what the Communist Party in power, which was opposed to European and American hegemony, that has implemented policies to advance China. But under the former Chinese regime, which is now now in Taiwan, the regime that ran ran away, is in Taiwan now. Everything was under the Europeans, so the Americans and stuff. So China was under. So it means what you're asking Africans to do is to overthrow these puppets of Europeans and implement policies that's going to advance their own interests. But anyway, let's not move to that level. I was saying, if we are feeling inferior, because you can't choose to feel inferior. Can you choose to feel inferior?
You know, even if you go to Europe, Europeans feel a bit, behind. They are a bit behind the US. When they talk about the United States, even European themselves, European countries, they feel like they are behind. So what we can do is, we have to start with the changing of mentality. Mentality.
Yeah.
That's where the problem. That's where everything can start.
I agree. We have to change the mindset, but you can't say the people in Europe are feeling like behind when they they protect their language, they protect their identity, they protect the culture, and they protect their economic interest.
Yeah, because we were talking.
What it means is, if we have to say the people of Europe to America, I can't say they're really feeling inferior because they're protecting their interest. But if you look at in our case, we're letting our language die, our culture die, and we're letting our economy and natural resources being owned by Europeans. And then to the point, some Africans even feeling ashamed of their own skin color, they're pinkinizing it. And our women don't even put their own hair anymore.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm talking about changing mentality. Now, when I talk about Europe and America, because you mentioned China and the US, how China was oppressed, so
we should not justify anything. Anything that is keeping us backward, we must have disgust for it.
Exactly.
We should not try to justify it. What we have here, we have a supreme dominance of European over us. You agree with me?
Yeah, Europe and America.
And that dominance is
countries in general.
Yeah, US, EU. Because they are one block. What they call Western.
Countries?
I don't call them Western, I call them US, EU. Because I don't know on what ground they call themselves Western. Because America is in West, Europe is in East. So they call themselves Western. I don't understand the logic, but anyway, I call them US, EU, the block. Now they have savage dominance over us, and the result is we are impoverished. We are feeling inferior.
Exactly.
Our languages and culture is dying. Our society is totally owned by them.
That's the reason why I'm talking first about the changing of mentality. Yeah. That's where the main problem is.
Okay, how do we change mentality? How do we change mentality as a people? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, exactly. There are many ways of changing mentality through teaching people, showing people, through seminars.
Do you think the European gonna let us change mentality?
No, it's not. No, this is not about Europe first. No, this is about Africans themselves. We have to start in Africa, trying to change people's mentality so that people can see exactly what's going on in the world, how the world is going. Yeah. So if we take the example of some few African countries that we call, of course they are developing countries, but they are a bit developed than many other countries in Africa. But you notice that we have government where you find that people are, getting corrupt. Government for that will work where.
Do you think Africa is free or remain under European colonialism?
We say we are free. African countries are no more.
I'm based on your observation or your accurate observation, not somebody's observation. Yeah. Your observation, not the TV observation. Your observation. Do you think people known as black, what I call brown Africans, are free? Or under European colonialism?
No, actually, we're not free. We might be free somewhere, but we're not completely free. So if we don't have what they call economic freedom, because everything you have in Africa, sometimes before you fix the price, Western countries are going to tell you what to do. No, this is the price for petrol. Yeah, but that means this is the price for diamond.
But we don't.
This is so.
We don't. The problem is we don't also have mental freedom, because when you go to school, what we learn is the European write it. When you open our media, it's entirely filled with European content. Yeah, actually, so we don't have economic freedom. We don't have mental freedom. We don't. If we don't have mental freedom, it means we don't have freedom because our mind. We do only what our mind wants, and our mind is under the grip of these people.
Exactly, I understand. Let me tell you something.
So it means we can conclude we don't have freedom.
No, it's not about Western education or American education, because as I gave the example of China, a lot of Chinese were in the US studying or in Western countries, and until today they are there. they are learning and going back to the country to invest. So to
but we are feeling inferior generally. You know that.
That's what you talk. Yeah, that's what.
What is making us feel inferior? Is not the information we're getting in our brains.
Yeah, exactly. You feel
so
you
it means
that
the European
inferiority complex.
It means the Europe. No, you can't feel inferior by yourself.